on, fam? It's me, Joe, in my room, coming at ya. Promised myself I wouldn't say that. Okay, today I wanted to talk to everybody about driving. Driving? Joe, why are you talking about driving? That's weird. I want to talk about driving because I do, okay? This has been something that I have struggled with for a long time. I'm still kind of struggling with, but just let me explain. I don't like driving. If you know me at all, actually, you probably know this, that I don't like driving. A lot of people my age love driving. They're crazy about it. They can't wait to get their car. I couldn't care less, but you do you. I thought driving was cool. I thought it was really neat. Yes, I saw the Fast and Furious movies. Yes, I saw car chases. Yes, I thought cars were cool. I thought cars themselves were cool. But the act of driving, I never considered something that I was eager to do. My sister, on the other hand, was very excited to start driving when she turned 16 or 15 or whatever. Like most teenagers, like normal teenagers, she was excited. I did not care for getting a license, did not care for getting a permit. I didn't want to do it. I didn't like it. Let me tell you about my whole journey. My dad, being the professional driver that he is, he was a taxi driver in New York. He drove in Dominican Republic, and that's crazier. He can drive, let me just say. I'm sure he was very proud of his prodigy daughter, who is very excited about driving, and his other daughter, not so much. I wasn't having it. Growing up, he's like, hey, do you want to get in my lap and drive? And I was like, sure, only because my sister had just done it and she looked so happy, and I was like, yeah, that seems fun. I got on his lap, I grabbed the wheel. We were on my street in the middle of the night, and it was a giant van, okay? It was a giant van. I was 10, okay? It was dark, and not the most ideal time to start driving for the first time. My dad, he was pushing the gas, and I was supposed to just maneuver. That was my only job. And I was maneuvering it a little bit too hard. I may have done a little something like this, and my dad may have yelled, and I may have screamed. We were fine. We were this close to hitting the neighbor's mailbox. This close. My dad put his foot on the brake, and we never made contact, so that's good. Driving was something that I found that I wasn't excited or cared. I wasn't good at it. And it's not that I'm a bad driver. I'm not a bad driver. I'm just, I don't like it. Well, ever since that day, I kind of been avoiding driving. It was never on my mind. Throughout high school, a lot of kids were like, I just got my permit, I just got my license, I just got my car. And I was focusing on my tests and exams and writing assignments and my ACE program and my AP classes, and I could care less, to be honest. And my parents, especially my dad, was like, when are you getting your permit? When are you getting your license? When are you doing this and that? Do you want to take the car for a spin? And I was like, not really, don't really want to do it. Why are you asking me? I don't want to do it. It was kind of hard seeing everybody so excited about something you could care less about, and hearing your friends and your family being like, hey, where's that permit? When are you getting it? Hey, where's that license? When are you getting it? It was just annoying, and I just wanted it just to get over it. Most definitely, I was at least 17 the time I started praying excessively about driving. One of the reasons for that was, every time I tried it, I thought it was pretty good. I found myself unconfident, and I think that's my biggest issue, is I didn't have confidence, not on the street, not with myself, not by myself. I can do it, I can drive anywhere. Problem is, I'm not confident, and I don't want to be responsible for what happens to a car, what happens to the people in it. And I had this thing when I was a kid, and I don't know what's wrong with me, but when I was a kid, I would be in a car, and I could always, sitting in the back seat, always imagine an accident. I feel like that's my biggest fear, is a car accident. And I'm always calm when my sister hit something or she did something on accident. I was always very chill. And I think the reason for that is I knew what a real accident would be, I guess, even though I've never really been in a huge accident. But I don't know, I had that fear in the back of my mind, and I just kept praying. I was like, God, please get rid of this fear, get rid of this agonizing anxiety that I had. Another thing, a huge part of it was anxiety. My sister would be like, Joe, drive. Huh? And yeah, I don't feel like it. You drive. And I would get this panicky feeling inside of my heart. It'd be pounding so hard, and I would get angry, and I would get frustrated, and I would tell her why this and that, and I'd say, well, I don't really feel like it, I have a headache. I'd give her all these excuses, and she goes, you gotta drive, come on, you have to practice, you have an exam coming up, blah blah blah. And I'd be like, oh, I've already said we were gonna practice on Saturday, and I had to be specifically when I timed it. It had to be scheduled. It couldn't be spontaneous. I couldn't just get in the car and drive. That was too much. It just drove me insane, and I feel bad because I honestly did. I was very mean. I yelled at her and I said, no, I don't want to do it. I got over, I guess, God delivered me from that scaredness, but what I still have is this feeling in the back of my mind. I still get that anxiety. I still get that. I was 17, 18 years old, and I still didn't have my license, and I didn't get it till I was 19. I got my permit when I was 17, which is later than most, but I got it because I have been delaying it for so long. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have my permit, yay, my parents could get off my back for a while. And I was right, my parents were off my back for a while. It took 2 years to get my license, 2 years. And it wasn't because I was going to the DMV and failing and stuff. Actually, it was quite the opposite. I had just never gone, never made an appointment. Didn't feel like I was ready. People kept asking, when are you getting your license? When are you gonna take the test? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, do you already have your license? Can I see your picture? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I haven't made an appointment. I haven't gone to the DMV, haven't done any of that stuff. I don't think that I'm ready. And I was so scared that I was gonna mess it all up. I prayed to God, and I was like, God, give me confidence, make me a better driver, make me focus, make me aware, because I'm such a big daydreamer and I'm scared that I'm just gonna lose it, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe this was all premature, maybe I was driving myself insane for no reason, but I felt that way, and it was terrifying, and people around me thought I was called lazy, I was called immature, I was called all these things that just weren't true. The truth was I was having these anxiety attacks from this feeling that I would be in control of this car full of girls or full of friends or full of whoever, and I just didn't trust myself. I never trusted myself. Even by myself, I didn't trust myself. So I had to keep practicing, I had to keep going, I had to force myself to do it, and I could only practice in my sister's car, no one else's car. I was too scared to I don't know, risk it, I guess. Shout out to my cousin Sylvia, who just gotten her license before me, and told me everything that was on the exam and everything that happened, and it helped me out a lot. Thank you. And I prayed about it so much. I made the appointment. I was like, okay, I feel ready. I've been driving a lot. I've been doing this. I'm confident, more confident than I was. I was like, let's do it. Let's go. We went, and I prayed like crazy about this. God, please, just, I believe it. I have faith. I'm gonna get my driver's license on the first try. I know no one really does, but I have faith that I will. And I had that faith inside of me, and I was like, deep down, I was like, everyone tells me that they fail the first time and they get the second time, that I shouldn't be worried, that I shouldn't freak out. And I was like, oh, okay, at least I have that. Everyone fails the first time, at least I have that. So I went in there, and I took the exam, and I did everything my cousin told me to do, and I was praying the whole time. I was driving, and I felt good, and I felt like I did a good job. And there was a part of this exam where I had to like park in the corner, in the cones and everything. I went to do that, and I did a good job going in. On my way out, I hit a cone. I was like, I'm not ashamed. I hit a cone. Like, big deal. What's that? Who cares? The lady, she was not a nice lady. And she got out of the car, and she's like, you should have fixed yourself better. And she got out of the car, and she fixed the cone. And I was sitting there like, okay, go back. And I was like, okay. And I went and parked somewhere else. She was just marking things off on her little paper, didn't say anything. She kind of just pointed out what I did wrong, what I could work on, blah, blah, blah. She didn't tell me at all if I had passed or failed. And I was sitting there like, I don't really care, just tell me if I passed or failed, lady. Just tell me what I did. Come on, lady, just tell me if I'm going home with the license or not, lady. Come on. I got out of the car, And she got out of the car, and I followed her back inside the DMV. My mom and my cousin Lalita, so sorry Clara, my cousin Lalita, were sitting out because they'd come with me, and they were sitting outside, and I guess they were watching me and I didn't know. And the lady still had not told me if I had passed or not, and I was really worried. And my mom, she got up and she said in her very cute Honduran accent, she passed? And the lady was like, looked at me like, kind of thinking it over for a second. She was like, yeah, she passed. And I was like so shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, for real? And my mom was like, yay! And she hugged me. And my cousin Clara hugged me. Sorry, Lalita. We were so happy. We were screaming. We were like, oh my god. And immediately while we were walking down the hallway and everything to go like get my license and everything and pay, I was just thanking God in my heart. I was like, thank you, Jesus, thank you. Oh my gosh, I passed on the first try. It was so great, and it was the best feeling in the world. My mom's like, oh, we gotta call your dad and your sister and everyone and tell them you passed. Oh my gosh. I purposely did not tell my dad I had made an appointment. I purposely did not tell my dad that I was taking the test, that I was trying to get my license. I didn't tell him anything. The reason for that was I didn't want to get his hopes up, I didn't want to disappoint, and I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of him constantly telling me that you should go to the DMV, you need to take your license, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't want to give him that satisfaction that I actually listened. He found out later, and I remember holding my license up and being like, I have my license now. Never again will I drive. And I made my mom drive home. I was able to do all of that because of the strength that God gave me. Otherwise, I never would have been able to do any of that. I never would have been able to practice. I never would have been able to get in the car seat because I had these heart pounding moments right before getting in the car, and I would always pray over the car that I got in to drive, and it was just this roller coaster of emotions, and it was annoying, and I was like, why me? Why do I have to be scared of this? I'm asking you, whether you believe in God or not, if you do believe in God, just to pray about it, to ask for confidence, to ask God to get rid of that fear in you, and to be constant with it. That's all I had to say. I guess it was to give some advice to someone out there who may be struggling with driving. I know there's not a lot of you or us or whatever, but in the small chance that you're struggling just like I was, I wanted to share this story. And I still struggle. I'm not perfect, but I'm dealing with it, and it's going pretty good. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So, bye.